we're gonna get right into the video. So I am just starting by chopping these onions. I am no pro on cutting onions. I actually suck cutting like all types of vegetables. So I'm just gonna go ahead and speed through this clip so you can just watch me cut these onions. So once I have all the onions cut up, I am just taking some olive oil as well as some minced garlic and putting it in a saucepan so I can go ahead and saute my onions. And I just use my wooden spoon to go ahead and mix that around, making sure that I get all the onions coated in olive oil. So that's what you see me doing here. So while I let the onions cook for a little bit, I am just gonna go ahead and cut the potatoes. Once again, no rhyme or reason to how I'm cutting this. I did want to kind of make them thick. Obviously, you can make them to your size preference, but I did want to make them kind of thick. I did go ahead and transfer them once I cut them into this bowl of cold water. So I am just gonna go ahead and speed through this, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut up all the potatoes and get them in my bowl of cold water. So back to my onions, they're my desired color. I just added a little bit of olive oil before I put my ground beef in there. And you can use ground turkey, that is totally your preference. I did just, for the sake of the burgers, I wanted to go ahead and use ground beef, and I'm just gonna let that sit for a little bit. I am going ahead and breaking it up a little bit, and then I will go ahead and let it sit. And while I'm letting it sit, I am just going to go ahead and cut up some pieces of bacon. Now you only see me cutting a couple of strips here. I did wind up adding a few more strips from a new pack that I did go ahead and get, and I'm just going to go ahead and put that in my air fryer. I do line my air fryer with aluminum foil. It just makes cleanup so much more easier. So I'm just going ahead and putting my bacon into the air fryer. So back to my ground beef, I am just seasoning it once it has been cooking for a little bit. So you can season it however you liked it. I honestly don't know what I use. I use a little bit of everything. So just season it to your preference. So I am mixing in that seasoning just a little bit. So that's what you see me doing here. And this is what the bacon looks like once it is completely done. I'm just showing you those extra strips that I did go ahead and add. So I am using a smaller saucepan. I've already added olive oil and minced garlic, and I am adding mushroom. I don't like mushroom, but my boyfriend likes mushroom, so I did go ahead and make a few mushrooms. I really didn't know how to make them. I just assumed that you make them like onions, so yeah, here goes nothing. And I did just add a little seasoning salt. I don't know. I guess that's what you're supposed to do. I'm not really sure. But yeah, so I added seasoning salt, and I'm kind of just mixing it around, making sure each side is coated in olive oil, just like obviously I did the onions. So this is what they look like after they've been cooking for a little bit. I did go ahead and kind of break them up into smaller pieces just because they were soft enough to do so. So yeah, so that's what they pretty much look like when they're done. I did go ahead and transfer it over to a paper plate with some paper towel to let the oil soak up. Burgers, I am using Hawaiian sweet rolls. I did go ahead and kind of oil the pan as well as cut them in half. Now I did have some casualties along the way. I think I lost like 2. But here I'm just spreading my ground beef, and I did strain my ground beef before I put it on here, so I am just using the strainer that I used. Yeah, so I'm just putting that ground beef on there. And I think next I am going to be adding cheese, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so I'm adding cheese because what is a cheeseburger without cheese? So now I'm just going to be adding bacon next, because what is a bacon cheeseburger without bacon? And now I am adding mushrooms to the four burgers on the whatever side that is. My right, probably your right as well. So I'm just adding mushroom on there, and then I'm just topping it. And here are the fries. I'm just adding a little bit of olive oil and kind of shaking that around. I did just use a wooden spoon to kind of toss those fries around, so all the olive oil, all the fries can have olive oil. And I am just lightly seasoning them because I am gonna go back and season them once they are done. So I am going to go ahead and toss those in the air fryer for 20 minutes at 400 degrees. After the first 10 minutes, I am going to kind of go ahead and move those around to make sure that they are cooking evenly. So I'm gonna go ahead and put those burgers into the oven to let the cheese melt. I added a little garlic butter that I made quickly. And this is what the fries look like once they are done. So I'm just gonna transfer them to a pan with some paper towel and season them. And then I'm taking the burgers out the oven, and I'm just gonna go ahead and cut them. They look so good and they taste just as good as they look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, all those good things. Tell a friend, tell a foe, tell everyone you know. Bye guys.